hit a link or put a set the spool. Y'all see any leaks anywhere? No. Me neither, but we should probably check underneath. Hello and welcome back out to the shop. My name is Mark. This is the Malarkey Taylor channel. And today we are interrupting a normal project. This is the Betsy Ross Jeep project. If you are here for that, we'll be getting back to it. But if you're just joining us for the Mercedes content, there's a link in the corner. That whole project, it's a whole playlist. Feel free to check it out. We'd love to have you stick around. But today, even though I left off on this one where we were working on this, we have to fix a problem with my wife's car. It began spewing coolant, and it turns out that it was the radiator hose. So we have got to replace the radiator hose, and while we're at it, we're going to do some general maintenance, air filter, fuel filter, that sort of thing. Here's what we're up against. So one of these guys is leaking, and so we have the upper and the lower. I don't know which one's which. Oh yeah, there's the lower. So we're gonna get to that. First thing I got to do is I got to get this thing out of the way, get it out of here, get my wife's car in here, and start draining the coolant. So thanks for stopping. Let's get to it. My back is feeling fine, by the way, but I don't want to hurt it again. So this is my 2008 GL320 CDI. It's primarily driven by my wife. That's why I call it my wife's car. We bought this a couple years ago and have just been stacking miles on it. There's a couple other videos on my channel about different work that I've had to do to it. I had the oil cooler seals, some suspension work, a few various odds and ends. Feel free to check them out. One of these corners there will be a link to the Mercedes content. We did glow plugs too. That was another one that was a pretty big deal. But today we are here to address this issue right here. You can see there is some moisture down there, and if I put my hand underneath of this and I bring it up, I see coolant. So this pipe right here is leaking. We're going to find out what's going on there and replace it, and then just kind of give it a once over. We're also going to do a fuel filter and air filters today because they are due. So not a fun project, but it is a project that needs to be done. I have one day to do it, so let's get to it. So when I work on these things, a lot of times the drains don't really drain the way that I would hope they would. Oof, got something on the lens there. So I end up making a giant mess. We're going to try to avoid making a giant mess, but I also don't expect it to work the way that I'd like. I don't know the official way to do this, but I'll probably end up just pulling the hose off and letting water run everywhere and then sopping it up with rags. So if you're doing it in a place where you can't do that, get it out to a place or get some rags ready so you don't make a mess. But down here, there's a little red knobby thing. I don't know if you can see it even. You guys go down in there and look, and I'll point at it. Okay. So there's the red knobby thing right there. And I'm pretty sure that's the drain. So I'm going to get a little screwdriver wrench thingy and try to open it up and see if I can get it to drain into these flat pans. And if we can, maybe we can drain it out and not make a big mess, but I doubt that's going to work. Okay. We got the drain opened. and it's starting to go on really a terrible location. But I got a couple of buckets here ready. Keep collecting it. You can kind of see it through here. Had to reach around underneath of there to get to it, and I think it can open up a little bit more, but I'm not sure how much flow I can get out of that drain. So try and get this drain down a little bit, try to get at that hose. Okay, quick update. There's a little thread or little hose barb on the bottom there. We can put a drain tube on and then maybe direct it, because once you take the top off to get the air, to get the water out, it goes really fast. More of a controlled chaos. Yeah, that's normal. That's what we usually do. We'll get that cleaned up. Okay, we will let that continue to make a mess down there. It's still draining. We got a lot out, but now we should be able to start taking the top of this hose off and getting at this top radiator hose. So let's do that. These fittings here are kind of what make these hoses specific to Mercedes-ish. You have to kind of slide a little guy in there. Get the pin out. Like that. And then this piece just kind of slides out. And that makes it really difficult to replace it with something generic. But that's how the top comes out. And there's a clamp down there, and there's a clamp down there. So let's get to it. Okay, we got the easy stuff out of the way. So now the next one is this side over here. It's a little bit difficult, and I feel like I've got to get this, which is the plenum for the air box, and this, which is the charge pipe, out of the way before I can get to that right down in there clamp. So let me see if I can get those guys out of the way. Go from there. Okay, the boost piping down here, a similar type of a situation with the clip that comes off of it. Ouch. And then it slides out on this side, usually a lot of oil dripping out of there. On this side, it's been a little bit more difficult. I've got the clamps off, but these are kind of fused on there. And I'm being really careful so that I don't puncture that boost pipe. Rather not have to replace that today, because I don't know how or where I would get one. And I need this car next week. Well, I need this car. Well, my wife needs this car next week. So, trying to get that off and out of my way so that I can get to the clamp on the back side of this. And not having great fun with progress. So you guys go back up here, see what you can see, and let's get to it. Let's see what we can find out. Okay, Those are the most annoying clips ever. But if you can get them to click and hold like this one did just now, then at least it stays open. But it's really hard to get it like that. Anyway, we got the upper hose off. I ended up using these guys to get it free, and then finally get that clipped in there. It kept on coming loose, and then I would lose grab on it. It's hard enough when you can see them, but when they're tucked in there like that, it is impossible to get them. There's a tool for that. Maybe one day I'll buy it. Now we got this guy out. Let's take a look. Okay. This is where we were leaking from. Somewhere in here. I don't know if it was the hose or the plastic tee. Something in there started leaking. This is our replacement part. So let's see what we got. That looks pretty much the same. Good enough for government work. So I'm gonna get this guy ready to put in there. I'll probably put a little bit of lubrication on a little bit of oil or something on there to keep that from getting gouged when we slide it in. Actually, there's probably enough. Yeah, it'll be fine. But well, I've got it apart and I got things out. I'm going to try to get the bottom one out too and replace both of them just so that I don't have to drain this coolant again, hopefully. There are other lines like the heater core and things like that, but I just got these two because they have those plastic tees in them, and I thought maybe they might have been breaking down to a point where we got to replace them. But let's get the other side down. Let's see where we go. And get this air funnel out of the way on this side too, just to give us some room. And then we're looking for this clamp here. I don't know if you can see my hand down there, but there's another pipe right over there. And then the bottom of the radiator. Let's try to get the one at the bottom of the radiator first, because that one looks like that's going to be the hardest. Okay, that one I got at by breaking this bottom plastic here and getting in there. Oh, it's leaking. Getting right in there and clicking it open there. So now I've just got to pull that hose off. So we can do that. Hopefully, come up here, get another pan, catch that drip, and then hopefully just pop this guy off. Okay, well, it's just not gonna pop off, but we'll get it off. You just stay up there and watch the fight. I'm hoping that that was the hardest of the struggle. So we got that off down there. Now we've got to get this guy over here. This. And this guy right here. Again, this is a little clip. Comes out. And that should just slide out of there. Like that. There we go. Again, rubber with a metal thing. And then the last piece that we got to get off is this one. You guys just chill right there. Come on. There we go. And then the lower rat hose is out. Now, did we need to replace that one? Not really. It wasn't leaking yet. But I put the order in and got a new one anyway, because I didn't want to have to do it again in a couple weeks. If the new one, if this T here broke the same way that T there did, I don't know. You get the point. Let's put them both back in there. This is taking longer than I wanted, but it's not as bad as I. Well, let's just stop right there. We still got a ways to go. Whew. All right, so let's talk about the replacement parts real quick. Mercedes Benz. I went on FCPeuro.com and bought genuine OE Mercedes parts, and these clamps are actually glued or something to the hose, so you just have to put it all in place and then bump this latch and it'll close down on it. So these two clamps are just kind of glued there, they go on there, and then this guy here has a new rubber O-ring on it, and it just slides into that unit. So pretty straightforward. I don't know what aftermarkets look like, but I didn't feel like doing this job and then putting an Amazon or AutoZone special in, because I really wouldn't like to do this more than once. So first set probably lasted around 200,000 miles, I think, because they look like they were OE. So if they were replaced, then they were done so before I got it 90,000 miles ago. So, all right, let's get this guy in. Got the bottom side in. It's just as much of a fight to get it in as it was to get it out. But now we're putting the rubber thing in here. Like this. All the way in. That one's pretty normal. There is a clocking notch on that to make sure that it's in the right spot. And then once it's there, take our little clip dealy and try to remember which direction it goes. I think it was like this. Yep, so got that guy in there now. It's all seated, and I give it a little tug just to make sure it's good. So now we can move on to that last one, which is right here, and that is going to require two hands, so y'all gonna have to stay here. Can you see? Yeah, you can see. This guy goes in here like this. Go. Alright, so we got three sides of the bottom down. Now we can do the top. Oh, but first I gotta drop these clamps. So to do that, I'll just grab a little flathead screwdriver, stick it in here, and just pry down. There we go. Pry down. Now she's clamped, and I'll do that on the bottom too. Just got to get to it. Down there. All right. Well, you can't see the bottom. Same basic principle, but I'm gonna have to get to there because it's all the way in you. All right. One thing that I do like to do sometimes when you're putting a new hose on like this is I'll get a little bit of soap. Just put it on my glove so my glove is nice and slippery. Ooh, bubbles. And then we'll take it and put it around here just a little bit so that it slides on that hose barb down there, real nice and smooth. There we go. That one was much easier up here where we can see it. So we got that guy on there. Can you see it? Lights, yep. Down there. And then we'll get this guy in there like that. Okay. There we go. And then the other side over here comes over. Oh, we've got to clock this guy. Actually, it's there like that. You can't see what I'm talking about. Come on over here. Where's my light? There it is. So, come on over here like that. So my glove is good and slippery, so I can't push it on. Just make a big mess. There we go. All right. There is a thing that's missing on my car. There's supposed to be one that holds it right here. I don't have that anymore. And this guy goes between these guys like this. So that's good. And this guy goes in there. And we got to put this clip back in here. I don't know if you guys can see that. There we go. So we did the same thing on the bottom down there, but this you can see it a little better. We got this clip, put it over across like that, and then where is my, there it is. And this guy would just clip it into place, give it a good little tug, good to go. And now the upper rad hose is in place, double checking everything. This thing here broke on me a long time ago, so I just have a little zip tie holding it in there. It's okay, it's doing the job. I don't know what to do about this other side here, because that does kind of flap around a little bit. Maybe I can, oh, there's a little lip there. I can probably put a zip tie on that. Let's do that. Let me show you what I'm talking about. This guy here, I kind of want to hold it in there like that. There is a little zip there. There's a little lip there. So let's see if this will work. I don't know. That should do the trick. Yeah. Next we got to set those clamps, and again we just come in here, a little flat screwdriver, give it a good little twist. Come on. There we go. Just move the, just crush the charge pipe. You're fine. Okay. Now that's on there. That side's on there. That's on there. Now we got to do that to the other side over here. Let's see if I can get you guys to hang out here. No, you can't see that. There's no way. I can't even see that. That's the one we had a hard time getting off. It's over here. No, I cannot. Oh, I know how to do that. So we'll put it on below. Make sure it's on all the way. Well, that's it for that screwdriver. Goodbye, buddy. We had a good time. Oh. Anyway. There we go. Now it's set. Camera was on, but didn't see anything because my whole arm was in the way. Okay. Upper radiator hoses are changed. Got to refill it, but I also got new air filters and a new fuel filter because both of those are due or past due. There, and there. But the charge pipe can go back in, those plenum things can stay out, and the vacuum line can go back on. So let's do that because that's part of the hoses. Okay, the top half of the boost tube is back on. Now we're just gonna put in the bottom side here, all the way in, just like that. And then we put our clip back on. It's kind of hard to show you, so you're just gonna have to trust me that, well, let's try it. Let's see if I can get you guys to sit here and see what I see. Can you see? If my hands get in the way, then I will edit it out, probably, most likely. Okay, that checks out. It's on both sides, and then I just give it a good tug and hug. Make sure that it's good to go. And the boost tube is back on. The next things that we would do are these plenums. But the plenums we don't do until after the air filters are done, because the air filters, you have to take the crossbar across. You have to take the pieces out in the back, and this whole thing comes out, so that's coming up next. So we're not going to put these back in until later. So next thing, put this guy back on. This is pretty easy. If you screw it up, there you go. To take that off, you pull it back and you see that little red thing in there. You slide that in and then pull back and then slide that in like this. That. That's how you get it off. This little thing is like a clamp. You get it in there, it'll stay. So, voila. Okay, so that's it for the radiator hoses. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go after the air filters and the fuel filter. I'm going to set you guys on time lapse. I'm going to stick you to the hood up here, and you can just kind of watch me get it done. If you want to see more about how to do that, put a comment in the comment section, and the next time I do this, I will make a video exclusively about changing the air filters and the fuel filter, but it will be in about 15 to 30,000 miles, so that could be a year or two away. But absolutely do that, because I will do that next time I do this, because it is kind of a pain. But because I got to get this job done, and I got to get this back to my wife, I'm just going to put you on time lapse and speed it up, and see you on the other side. Well, that didn't go quite as planned. When I was bleeding out the fuel filter, I put a hose on there, but I forgot to kind of tidy it down, and it kind of whipped around like a fire hose and got diesel fuel all over everything. So, oh well. Anyway, like I said, if you want to see that whole process, it took me about 2 hours. Maybe, no, let's see here. About an hour and 30 minutes to get the air filters changed and the fuel filter changed, because you have to take the whole back apart, and it's kind of a pain. I do still need to put the 2 plenum pieces back in, and the cabin air filter case, and then I am ready to go. But I'm also going to take this opportunity to stop and fill up the coolant, because I need to get the coolant filled up, because I never refilled it after I drained it, and I still have the drain open. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm gonna close that drain up and start putting the coolant back in the engine. Give me a funnel, because not that I don't trust myself to be able to pour into that hole. I probably will be pretty good at it, but this stuff is 22 bucks a gallon. I'm not taking any risks. I'm not taking chances at 22 bucks a gallon. I'll tell you what. Who dog? Y'all see any leaks anywhere? No. Me neither, but we should probably check underneath. Well, I think we have enough in it to start it now. Probably. Let's give it a minute to settle, and I'll put these other plenums back in. Oh, wow, this is... I should have expected it, because every time I touch this thing it turns into this type of a project. But massive fuel leak. Found this guy here was leaking. That guy there was leaking. That guy there was leaking. One of them I didn't even touch. But it's up to temperature now. Think I've got all the fuel leaks closed off. Everything's back together. The next step for me is just drive around a little bit, make sure that it gets up to temperature all the way, doesn't overheat, and then I can safely possibly give it to my wife. So next step is take it for a spin, see what we got. Betsy Ross Jeep, look at that. Oh, nice Jeep, nice Jeep. I can't tell now whether that's residual or if that is still an active leak. I think we'll have to give it some time and drive it. Everything else is in great shape. Its cooling system seems good. Looks like maybe I have a screwdriver down there I gotta get. Yeah. That's not the first time that's happened. Alright, so that's it for that project. Coolant's done, fuel thing's done. I'll chase that leak off camera. That's it for this. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them down below. Thank you so much for stopping out. We'll see you guys on the next one.